Hello out there, and welcome to another episode of Inspired By. So as you can see, spooky season is upon us. We are coming into Halloween time, but we're not quite there yet. However, we are totally in the midst of hit me in the face with anything pumpkin season because I'm one of those people. Hate to admit it. No, I don't. I love pumpkin. I love anything pumpkin. I love it in food. I love it in beverage. I love the smell of it. Just pumpkin is wonderful. So today's episode is going to be focusing on the pumpkin of the season. So we're making a pumpkin spice smoothie. Or should we call it a pumpkin pie smoothie? Because it does actually have pumpkin and not just the spices. We'll call it pumpkin pie smoothie. Okay, so to make this pumpkin pie smoothie, this is what you're gonna need. You're gonna need bananas, frozen. As you've seen in previous videos, I usually cut my bananas in half and freeze them like this for storage. You can cut them into smaller slices. That works totally well too. You also are gonna need coconut milk. You could, if you don't want to use coconut milk, you can use almond milk, oat milk, regular milk, whatever type of milk, works for you. Obviously, we need some pumpkin. We're going to need a little honey to sweeten it. And again, I use the raw honey. It's my honey of choice. Then in terms of some spices, we're going to need some cloves. Definitely some cinnamon, because what's more pumpkin pie than cinnamon? We need a little nutmeg, little tiny bit of allspice, and some vanilla. Also, if you don't want to totally use coconut milk, if that's a little too rich, you can also do a combination of milks. I'm actually going to use some almond milk combined with coconut milk as well. So this is the almond milk that I'm going to be using. I actually make my own almond milk. You don't have to do that, but I find that a lot of commercial almond milks have a lot of emulsifiers and additives in them. The only brand that does not that I have found is Elmhurst, but it's really, really expensive. I make this, it's super, super easy. I might make a video about that in the future. But again, any type of milk is gonna do. And also, if you want to add a little scoop of yogurt, you can also do that as well to make it a little more creamy. Okay, so let's put everything together. One thing that, just good to know information about blending anything, the science of using a blender is you need to have a lot of liquid in it, and it creates a vortex, and it sucks all the solid material into the vortex to break it up. If you don't have enough liquid, it's going to create like an air pocket, and nothing is going to actually get blended and chopped up the way you want it to. So we need to make sure that we are putting enough liquid in. So, step one is banana. I'm going to put 2 banana halves, so 1 banana. Next up, I'm going to put in about roughly 1/3 to half of a can of pumpkin. Next up, coconut milk. If you've seen my previous video where I've used coconut milk, I always check the label. I want to make sure any kind of coconut milk I'm using does not have any guar gum in it. So that is something to look for. I'm doing about half a can of the coconut milk, and I will supplement with some almond milk. Next up, yogurt. Just a good scoop like that. Okay, next up, vanilla. I'm going to use about half a teaspoon. Then we get into these spices. Spices, I tend to eyeball a lot of this, so I'm going to give you approximate measurements, but you can change it around to make it taste however you want. Nutmeg, Nutmeg is pretty strong. You don't want to use too much of this. So it's like 1/8 of a teaspoon. Cloves, again, very strong. They smell wonderful. They smell like Christmas. So this doesn't have a sprinkle top on it. So this, I'm literally just gonna take a little pinch like that, and that's it. Allspice, again, delicious but also very strong. Just a few little sprinkles. Don't go crazy with that one. Then cinnamon. Cinnamon we could get a little carried away with. Say start with 1/4 of a teaspoon up to 1/2 a teaspoon. If you need more, play around with it. Okay, next up is honey. Okay, so that's about 1.5 tablespoons of the honey that went in. Next up, we put our lid on. Come on, lid. And we blend. Okay, there you have it. Pumpkin pie smoothie. So you could dress this up. You could put some whipped cream on top if you like. That's just not my thing. But it's very hard for me to hold this and not drink this. This is delicious. Okay. It is delicious. If I could live on this, I would. This is amazing. Everyone should make this. I hope you all do. And enjoy. And I will see you next time on another episode of Inspired By. Take care.